experiência de guerra atravessa gerações, marcando pessoas e países. Em forma de ficção ou de memória, Metrópolis traz Relatos do Fronte. Ela é ilustradora e escritora, nascida na Alemanha, vive nos Estados Unidos. Nora Krug acabou de publicar 2 livros incríveis que eu me apaixonei aqui no Brasil. I heard that you do a research on it, but your own story about tyranny. What you look for, what you dig when you look into the past?
I would say generally the truth. I am a big researcher. I also have a background in documentary film. So real life interests me the most, and research is a big part of my work, and with every book I spend a long time researching before I actually start writing and drawing. One of my favorite books as a child was Der Struwwelpeter, a collection of 19th century illustrated stories about children who get punished for misbehaving. The book was considered outdated because of its moral severity, but my mother happened to keep her old childhood copy on the family bookshelf. In Heimat, I used 2 different color schemes. I used cold colors for my mother's side of the family and warm colors for my father's side of the family. And I alternate the colors throughout the book so that the reader knows or can feel. I think it's mostly intuitive. I don't think most readers actually notice, but I think they can feel which story we're in, whether it's the paternal or the maternal one. The archivist has brought me. Compiled and labeled almost 7 decades ago, this US military file has made its way into the daylight for the first time in 2 generations. This book I didn't write, but I illustrated it. It was written by the American historian Timothy Snyder, and he talks about patriotism in a positive sense, although in America a lot of people also have difficult relationship to the term.
A little bit about, and if there is always the same process of unbelonging that you write and have your own history and on tyranny, they are word different.
Yeah, with these 2 books I approached it the same way. I use photographs, I use full-page illustrations, I use small comic photographs because I want to show that, for instance, something like tyranny exists in every country and in every time period.
Ilia, thank you very much for having us and for being with us at this time. You just released Deaf Republic, in Portuguese, República Surda, here in Brazil. You are as here, then you have Ukrainian heritage, you live in the US, so you have a lot of languages in your memoir. But when you started as a writer, you start writing in English. Is that true?
To answer your question, I was born in Soviet Union, in the Republic of Ukraine, in Soviet Union. At that time, the language of the state was Russian. But when I was 16, my family had to leave to come to America, so I began writing in English. It wasn't out of a big literary ambition.
E quando bombardearam as casas dos outros, nós protestamos, mas não bastante. Nos opusemos, mas não bastante. Eu estava em minha cama. Ao redor dela, os Estados Unidos desabavam. Casa invisível, após casa invisível, após casa invisível.
It is a story that begins with a pregnant woman and her husband at a public gathering. They see a soldier shoot and kill a young deaf boy. And in response to that murder, they see the whole community decide to stand up and protest the authorities by refusing to hear them.
Após o toque de recolher, as famílias dos presos penduram marionetes artesanais nas janelas. As ruas esvaziam, a não ser pelo rangido das cordas e o toque-toque dos pés e punhos de madeira batendo nos prédios. Nos ouvidos da cidade, a neve cai.
For me, politics at its best is people living together. At its worst, politician's line about people living together. Poetry is the language that tries to be true and tries to get out of the expect you to find something stranger, something new, something musical, something that speaks to our senses. And so is it a good language to speak about our living together? Well, yeah, sure, it tells us how to live together and not get bored.
Tem mais conteúdo sobre esse assunto nas nossas redes sociais. O Metrópolis volta amanhã. Um beijo, tchau! Não acabou não. Tem muito mais no canal do Metrópolis Programa. Segue a gente aqui e fique por dentro de mais conteúdos bacanas como esse. É só clicar no sininho. Um beijo, até!